Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TRI's Crypto Countdown 100 Top 100 Review Crypto Party Show. Anyway, our once a week crypto show brought to you by the good people at TRI. Hey, we're live on YouTube. TRI's Crypto. That's awesome. Good to hear. Well, at least it's working. And let's see if I can pop on over here and we can keep an eye on the chat room and all that because every once in a while a few people show up. But anyway, welcome back to the show. It's Wednesday. Where are we here? Marching through the winter, eh? I was just commenting with the boys. It's like 70 degrees back east. Our show director producer was telling me this morning for the daily briefs. So kind of an odd winter, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the boys on the show here tonight were saying that the groundhog did see its shadow, so I guess we'll check in with them. But anyway, welcome back to the Frivolity. This is our fun show, our crypto show that we do once a week. My name's Brian Beamish. One of the principals here at therationalinvestor.com, and man, we're having a lot of fun. Sjord, our CTO, just built this incredible screener platform. So over the past month or two, been having a lot of fun chit-chatting about the platform. And I think one of the things that really jumped out at me of late, and this is these signals are dynamic, so they're updating constantly. And clearly you can see cryptocurrencies are getting punched in the nose here hard. But maybe to the point, maybe a little too much. So maybe we might even talk a little bit about dashboard information tonight. But this is a fun show that we do. Three TRIers that I've had the great privilege to get to know over the past, I guess we've been doing this show now, I guess, since the spring. All of them sort of moving through their own personal journey trading. And various stages of education sort of with our site. And of course, once you're a student in the market, you're in here for good. You're going to be a student for the rest of your life. So enjoy the ride, but I'm sure they are having fun. So why don't we take a moment and introduce them? Of course, you all know them, but there are some people new that watch this video week in, week out. We have a few hundred people that watch this, and good idea to maybe get to know them. So from the top, no particular order, Nick out of the great state of Minnesota's got the top of the Hangout screen. How you doing this evening, Nick?
Great, ready to talk some crypto.
Awesome. Then we have Ben. Actually, Ben's got the Florida background. Ben, how you doing this evening?
Doing great. Yeah, ready to talk some crypto too.
Awesome. And then last but not least, what is that? Is that the inner city streets? What's the background image you got there?
Ground level.
Ground level, yeah, all right. Anyway, Derek, we're having fun with the Google Meets. You guys don't even see this, but should I show the public our camera pictures? I don't know. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. So anyway, this is what I saw. There's Derek. Hi, Derek. You want to wave? Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
So anyway, that was
Happy
his
Wednesday.
background. There's his background image. He's reporting from the street, no doubt about it. And look at Brian. Brian's reporting from Bunnyland. So I've been trying to really work the PMA angle at TRI of late. So I'm doing things like background images or bunnies and stuff like that. So anyway. Welcome back to the show, everybody, and welcome back to the show, my co-hosts. Welcome, get ready for another couple hours of fun here with the Beamish and crew. So I don't know. Does anybody want to volunteer? How are we feeling? What's the collective feeling right now? Anyone? Nick, we can start with you. How are you feeling? Are you feeling optimistic, pessimistic, indifferent?
I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you how to counter trade my sentiment. You'll be good.
Oh.
But
maybe we should check in with what our votes were for this past week. Maybe that's a smart thing for us to do.
Yeah, and I do remember apologizing to Derek when I went last time because I added that one and I was like, I'm sorry, you're going to be wrong now because I'm bullish.
Oh.
And that's what happened. We went down another pretty much $7,000. But
You can tell where my mind state is because I didn't realize we were down. Did I say 15%?
Just about.
It's like I didn't even notice. Like I mean,
That's what the
I
numbers are, right? Wow,
I
15%.
kind of pay attention, but it doesn't feel like that to me. It doesn't feel like 15% down.
Huh. Bitcoin has a sneaky way of doing that to you. Lulls you into sleep, sends sleep, and even I remember the drop from like 6,000 to 3,000. That was a 50% drop, right? And people labeled that 50% drop, But people are like, well, it was 20, so I mean, yeah, it's just it's down. Anyway, okay, so yeah, that's a good point. 15.7% was the winning. I don't know, call. Is that what we'll say? But. Is that affecting your disposition? Does that hurt personally? Do you care?
No, I mean I don't. I just think it's kind of part of the part for the course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, although I will say I tried to put on a couple weeks ago. I tried to put on a couple trades, and I mean they both got stopped out. But that's how I kind of know that the market's not doing as hot. But I mean, I don't really feel bad about it or anything. I feel okay.
Good. Well, that's positive. I mean, unfortunately, in this crazy game of speculating, the one thing that kills most new people is just, over emotionalizing your investing capital. I'm going to get stinking rich on this next trade or I'm going to the poorhouse. And of course, on the way up, everybody gets stinking rich and everybody's so smart and everybody's brilliant. And on the way down, oh my God, it's a nightmare. So if anything, half of our job, if you're watching this for the first time, you're like, man, who is this crazy guy? Or these crazy kids? We have a habit at TRI to try and take relatively small risk relative to your whole portfolio bets. And then that way, if you're wrong, which, quite often we are in this game, it doesn't really hurt terribly. So I guess I'm hearing that, Derek, you're not taking really too big of bets right now.
True, very true.
Yeah, I think that's probably wise. How are you feeling these days, Ben? You hanging in there? You're still, I guess you just kind of mastered the level 1 concepts here recently, eh?
Yeah. Which is an amazing course, by the way. Anybody sitting on the fence, sign up.
Hey, I didn't prompt him to say that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm not taking anything too big, any big bets in the market at the moment as well. So just taking it steady and yeah, really liking that breadth tool to kind of
makes life
me out of
easy.
trouble.
Yeah, I think it makes life pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's unfortunately. And actually, if you follow my Twitter feed, if you're watching this for the first time, I put out a fun little Twitter feed. That's my cartoon picture. Actually, one of our old site OGs, he got that done up for me. Thank you, Jamie. And of course, this is my favorite. This is probably my favorite image out of crypto experience. It's just kind of sad because it's not really a flattering image of crypto. But if anything, I think this really, in my opinion, I think it frames crypto very, very well. But anyway, that's probably a little bit of a, snarky. Look, if you know who this guy is, then you'll understand the dark underside of capitalism. And it doesn't matter whether it's the penny stock market and a guy named Murray Pesum in the 1970s and 80s, or people like this in cabbage coins. So anyway, what did I want to show you? I wanted to show you something on this Twitter feed that I put out recently. The breadth indicator. Actually, you know who you should really follow on Twitter to really follow the whole TRI experience is we got one of our TRI OGs who's like a total, have any of you guys had the opportunity to talk with Josh? He's such a sweetheart.
Not really. No, I've heard him a lot on the Daily Brief and stuff, but
yeah, I think a meetup sure is long overdue, eh? The last one we had, I think, was here in Vancouver in 2018, I think it was. And all of these guys, all of those people from that part of the world, they were there. In fact, I think that's Josh right there. Let's see. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah, there's Josh right there. Such a sweetheart. Anyway, he's taken over writing this blog. And if you're going to follow like the TRI experience, I think you really want to follow this at TRI_PMA Twitter handle. And man, can you believe this? I can't believe this when I see this. And this was sort of a first update, and I asked Josh just to keep an eye on this. And this is basically our breadth indicator algorithm telling us what to do in the market, and it's just killing it. This is crazy. It's not supposed to be this cut and dry, this easy. That I actually, when Josh showed me that, I was absolutely shocked. I couldn't believe that, to be honest with you. So keep your eyes peeled. Anybody watching this feed for the first time, man, keep your eyes peeled here. I think I want to create like a mutual fund that just simply, I'll fund it with like 1 Bitcoin. Just say, all right, it's yours. Script her up. Away you go. Come back in 6 months and see what happens. Man, it's just stunning. I can't believe it. Anyway, so super pleased to see that. And that's sort of what the boys, I think that's what you were referring to, eh? What was that? Was that you, Ben?
Yeah.
Who said that? Yeah. I mean, this is next level. This is like professional hedge fund managers trading. I mean, that's how next level this shit is. It's so impressive. So anyway, no, that's not it. And the funny thing is I'm a terrible salesman. I remember I used to tell people, and actually, I guess on a weekly basis we better do this, right? Derek, how's it going? Any closer to writing that damn exam?
No.
Say ever closer. We're always closer.
Ever closer.
You can always say never been closer.
Never been closer.
That's what we used to always say about the website when it was in development. Never been closer. Anyway, so maybe like the website, Derek's gonna perform for us soon here. Come on, Derek, I'm rooting for you. Anyway, the hell was I? Anyway, I think I wanted to make a reference to options or something in this, but anyway, actually a good part of well, saying 3 things at once there. We have level 3, Nick. We're coming up. Actually, Nick, you're doing options right now. So what do you think about Brian's crazy option strategies? They're pretty simple. I don't know. Do they make sense?
Yeah, I actually think the short strategy based off of WDB, I actually feel like that one is really neat.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's encouraging. Actually, what would be really interesting is if you could actually create some sort of value metric in crypto and see if we could do a WDB right option strategy in crypto land, like on Deribit or something, you know?
That would be really neat.
That would be impressive. But anyway, so, good. So at least one of the strategies that I actually conveyed passed muster. That's good. Actually, Nick was a smart motherfucker. So that's encouraging that at least I got a nod. Would you, I mean, maybe you're coming into the meat and potatoes of the level 3 course. Are you having fun in level 3? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you were asking us how we feel about like the market being a lot of red lately. Like, I don't think I've even done a trade in the last month and a half just because the course load or the workload for level 3 is high. Yeah. And so like I'm not even paying attention. I'm still like looking for setups and stuff like that, but it's mostly just to keep fresh. I don't think I've actually put on a trade maybe since the 2nd week of January. And so
well, you've been well served, I think. So if anything, keeping you nice and occupied is a good thing.
But yeah, and it's been a lot of learning. I really like harmonics. I've always wanted to learn about options, and I do like a lot of the other strategies too. It's just that one kind of stuck with me more than the others.
And actually, Zach and I just did one. And the trade's working out pretty well. It's doing about almost exactly what we had expect or hoped, I guess.
Nice.
So we have, like what I really like and is a bit lacking for you is some recent trades to show you like actual live trades that are happening in real time with those strategies. So I'm really proud of Zach. Zach's come a long way. And being an options aficionado is not easy. That's a tough craft. I think guys like at Tasty Trades and stuff like that. I think they make it look. They try to make it look really really easy. I don't know, Derek. What do you think? Are you using options at all in your thinking in the market these days?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a couple like really small positions on some of the TRI SOF stuff we've talked about.
Good, good.
So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to incorporate them, but yes, I mean, I'm still learning. I mean, I'm kind of fresh out and only a year into sort of trading and markets and all that type of stuff. So I'm just still taking things slow, but
That's good.
getting my feet wet.
And Ben, of course, I'll wait patiently to have this conversation with you. I'm rooting for you.
I can't wait.
And Ben, and then here's the kick of the pants: is Ben's already wanting his veteran tech. Because hey, I bought all level 3 courses. I'm done. That's the way it usually works on most sites, right? You pay the package and then you get like all the benefits. This Beamish guy's got to make you jump through hoops. What a jerk! I'm just kidding. Anyway, I look forward to one day, and actually it'd be interesting to place bets on when we're going to have this options conversation with you, Ben. Just for fun. Anyway. Okay, so I like as you probably can hear, I'm a really sort of personable person, and I really like to get to know my students, TRI site members. I don't know whether you guys watched the Daily Brief today, but wow, I sure got emotional about you guys in TRI. Like, this site is you guys. You are the future of this place, and if anything, we've got people all over the world. Our next job is to somehow decentralize this whole platform. Wouldn't that be so sick if this thing was decentralized? There was no like one server that actually you could take down and it would disappear. It just would be here. That would be sick. So anyway, that's a big goal. That's your bed?
Yeah, just poking some fun. With
hey, it's all good. It's all good. I mean,
I don't think a break's bad though. Like, there's so much information that if you really want to get it down pat, like taking a semester off in between each level is not the worst idea.
That's smart. That's smart. I mean, and if we go through hyperinflation here, Ben's going to be laughing at everybody because the level 3 course in like 3 or 4 years is going to be 20 grand, right? And he's going to be like, that's like I did a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So there you go. So actually, I was really proud. Stuart even said that he got it. He's now got basically if you want to live in the crypto world and live on TRI, TRI is totally like everything's all integrated with crypto, which is so cool. Anyway. Don't really want to spend too much time shilling the site. We're here to talk our fun little spreadsheet and our fun. And the cool part about it is it looks like Brian's... Brian actually had a half-decent call there last week. I was kind of cautionary. And so was Ben. That's Ben over here, isn't it? Yeah, so Ben and I, we're the smart guys here. Woo, way to go, guys.
Good job, guys.
And Nick and I guess we had, I don't know. I mean, technically you could say nobody was right? So get off your high horse, Brian. But I do remember I was kind of feeling last week like I wanted to see a bit of pain in the market. So we're getting that pain now. Interesting how the threat of war, I would have thought, would have brought a bid into Bitcoin. Right? The threat of nuclear Armageddon. Isn't that half of the reason why Bitcoin exists, right? So there'll be at least some sort of barter currency on the other side of sort of Armageddon.
I mean, if the internet's still around.
Yeah. And that's interesting when, push comes to shove, people go, well, you know what? That's the interneting fine. But it might not be here, right? Isn't that fascinating? Huh. Hey, there you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So there you go, Nick. And D Born, isn't that you, Derek?
Yep.
All right,
I
so
was
most
just
of the
chiming in a little
chat
bit.
is actually you guys over there.
Well, I think even if we have nuclear war, I think the Skylink will still be up there, so it might be a little bit internet available.
That's Musk's
Yeah,
satellite. Did he actually
it's
end up
that.
putting it up there?
I thought they launched some of them. I mean, I thought it
Some.
was like it is some. I mean, I think the plan is to like have, which is weird to me because it's like space junk. It's like I mean, thousands of thousands of satellites is what they wanted to make the network.
Pretty
It's like I
much,
mean, like
eh?
how are we going to get off the planet if you're putting stuff like all around it? Like, how does that work?
That's a good point.
I don't know. It's just weird.
And
It's a
I
weird
guess
concept to me.
yeah, because like if you run into something and it's going like the speed of orbit, and you're trying to leave Earth, so you're traveling faster than that, and you collide. That could tear your ship apart, pretty easily. That's a good point. Yeah, I suppose at some point space in itself is going to get rather political. Are you allowed to put stuff up there or not? Okay. Oh well. Okay, so crypto tastes great. I mean, I just thought it was kind of interesting that everybody kind of inflation hedge and great thing if you think civilization's going to collapse, go and buy your bitcoins. And yet the irony of it all is that price actually came off here, as it appears that things get a little bit more stressful in the world these days. I don't know. Suppose this is an interesting chart look. This is what I work with when I'm working in the day trader room at TRI. And I think, interesting, here's our ATR levels. And I love this script that a site member created to sort of give us, typical sort of outside range and price. So you can see up against resistance. Actually, I suppose now we can even add in a big, look at the size of that gap. Holy moly. So we can add that study into the equation. There's ATR, there's the gap, there's basically most recent significant resistance. If we did get a counter trend rally up into this area as a day trader, I'd be hunting for shorts up here. And then conversely, there is horizontal support and resistance against these lows, candle body lows for trade location, blah, blah, blah. I've heard Brian probably talk lots about that in the past. We're coming into an interesting area for longs. So it is interesting. You can see I was asking if we would get dead cat bounces to actually short underneath this megaphone trend line. Notice how we rallied up into Mountain Man and then stalled out. So you could even lower time frame people be. Let's see, how can I do this? We'll go like that, and we'll go sync, then we'll go down into here, and we'll go over here. Oops, is that the chart I was just working on? There we go. So, actually, this is so cliche, because this is, I used to trade with a futures trader, so killer futures trader guy. Brandon Rigo, we used to call him Mountain Man. That was his handle on the site. So what does that say? 39,220. What did we get up there? 39,235, eh? So a good old mountain would have been filled there. Taking $15 of heat, and then look how the market just melted down. I mean, isn't that insane? Do you guys ever want to get to that kind of level of trading? Oh my God, that guy, he was just a machine. Anyways, one of the best futures traders I ever worked with. So. Anyway, point of the matter here, I think coming against these lows, there's probably a nice liquidity pool underneath there. We've got those horizontal support and resistance levels back here. And there's ETR sitting down there. So, a nice little trade setup down here. Actually might be a half decent long. So, interestingly enough, as we're coming down in, I'd want to see these levels traded through first, but as we're coming into here, what I'd like to see is nice divergences start to build. So you can see how higher lows, lower lows. So you can see the divs are already starting to build. So somebody's getting ready to do something here. What I'd like to see is a nice, even if we just use... And actually this also too is a really good illustration of a concept that Sjord really likes to trade with, but I'll get to that in a second. So what you'd love to see is a nice little, I would actually personally like to see a little bit lower, but then a pop up, and that pop up actually forces the MACD to confirm that divergence. And then on the other side of this, I'd love to see a nice W to frame an entry. So that's what I would be sort of looking for if I was thinking about day trading against this low. So we'll keep an eye out. There might be a trade setup that develops there. What's really cool, we don't really teach it on the site. We got so many modules we still have to do. But Sjord has been working away with relative strength index and Bollinger Bands on relative strength indexes. To sort of, you want to avoid trading this kind of market. This will get you chopped up with this kind of insane volatility. You want to try and concentrate when the volatility is coming out, and like what Sjord likes to call like pressure building in the market. You can see cute little W there, boom, 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 and look at the W in price, right there, and what happened afterward. Yeah, nice rally. So do we have that kind of situation? Is the pressure building? It looks like it. Would have liked to see the lower band tighten up a bit more. But I could see, we'll get a little pop here, confirm the momentum div, then a nice W on sort of further consolidation in the bands, and away we go. So keep your eyes peeled, folks. We might come into something here over the next day or two. There's nothing really to do right now. But I like working with the day traders. We have some... It's incredible at TRI. Like, literally, we have generations of people that come and go. Actually, I don't know whether I even posted the link in the lounge or not. What a doofus, eh?
I put it in there.
Oh, did you? Thanks, man. I totally forget. Anyway, back to our story. Kind of like the three of you. And actually, Derek's been participating in the secret options formula meetings. Although I think he's in the penalty box because he hasn't written it down with him yet. But I won't talk about that. Anyway, and he's actually given us a couple half decent ideas. And, that's the price of admission in that group is they want some good ideas. So if you bring an idea and everybody goes, you paid for your admission. But you got to be able to know what a good idea is. Do you think in Stockland, you have a pretty good idea what a good idea looks like, Derek?
Yeah, I do. I mean, so at least on to the upside, when we started talking a little more, yesterday we were talking a little bit more about shorts and things like that. So I started kind of, getting more acclimated to that. Because people would think it's simple, right? You just kind of look at it the opposite way, but it still seems like a little bit more to it. And I haven't put on a lot of shorts before, so even understanding, kind of fully understand how they work and that stuff and puts and that type of thing. And so, but yeah, I think I think it's awesome.
Yeah, well, the good part about I said this in a public show recently, and I was quite surprised, but it sure resonates. If you actually play this game correctly, those two rules of investing, and if you were watching this video for the first time, go and watch, I think it was the Broiler Chicken show of just this past weekend. So I don't know, what date is this video, like end of February 2022. So just go and watch on TRI's feed the Broiler Chicken show from, end of February. And I lay out the two rules of investing. And the irony of it all is if you follow the two rules of investing, it actually becomes difficult to lose money in this game. But most people just can't follow the damn rules. So I think, when I said we asked new, I'm not going to say course graduates, but through new level 3ers that are showing promise to the TRI SOF group meeting. And I gotta say, Derek brought some pretty good ideas. You know, he knows his stuff. Good at fundamentals, good looking charts, and you know, I think he convinced a few people to jump on his bullish bandwagon. So anyway, this is a show about crypto though, so let's get back to work here.
Is there ever a point where if he makes everyone else in that room enough money, he kind of like it's like an apprenticip and he can bypass the test, the exam?
No. Well, that'll always piss me off, right? You know, Frank. I guess Nick, you're almost there. I think your group will get an invite to that group. We do talk a lot about warrants in that group, and I don't want you new people to derivatives to even start even looking at warrants because they're dangerous. They're just like options, right? And so we just talk very frivolously about these trades in the group. So I don't want you guys in the group until I know that you've got sort of a serious scolding first about how dangerous this stuff is. But short answer is probably yes. Long answer is just make the old man happy, please.
I got faith in Derek.
Yeah, I know. Well, the irony of it all, and you know what we should do? Is I think what I should probably do is try and figure out some sort of reward system on the site. You know, like my old prop firm, they used to have this sort of fictitious currency inside the prop firm that they called ticks. And everybody who signed up would get like 100 ticks. TICKS. And that's sort of a minimum fluctuation in any market. You call it one tick. And we used to sit in the lounge and go, I'll bet you 10 ticks this. I'll bet you 10 ticks that, right? And I've always said, you know, like crypto, I can't wait in TRI when we get a coin inside the site that we could do this in the lounge with. It would make this a lot more fun, eh? So what I would suggest to do is I would donate, I'm going to throw into the pot 100 ticks. And if Nick finishes his exam before Derek, Nick gets the 100 ticks.
I like that. That's how you metaverse the site too. It's they induce some participation and things like that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be? I think that would be a really
That's a pretty
good
cool
idea.
Everybody gets a wallet when you come in, and you get some 100 ticks. And
so you're telling me I can't actually really influence this. It's just Derek can make me money if he doesn't take the exam. It's all on Derek.
Yeah, well, isn't that what it should be? Anyway, all I'm saying is, and you guys are so smart, and crypto's almost at the point where I think we could do something like this kind of ticks concept, couldn't we? And then that way, you know, I could incentivize you guys on the site here. You know, Derek, if you can get that damn exam written, I'll give you 100 ticks, right? But if you don't write it before Nick gets it, Nick gets the ticks. Or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, food for thought. Okay, so, and if anybody watching that has an idea of how we can expedite something along those lines, if it's even realistic these days, you know, leave a comment or whatever on the video, and you know, I'll pass it along to Stuart, and if he can work it into the system relatively easily, I think it would be a great idea. Okay, so, you know, our list here, I guess we're up to, looks like 12. So Avalanche, is that AVAX? This thing must have fallen down because it's come off a bit recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, since last week. Everything has, but yeah, it has too.
Well, I guess if that's a top 100 kind of list though, so it'd just be like relative, eh? Where's a good place to do this? That's stocks. Where's crypto? There's crypto. Kind of like that Luna name. Although, it's kind of... Actually, you know, this is an interesting little... I just wanted to follow up what I said in the daily brief today. I don't like the fact that the 2-to-1 on this trade means that we got to see a test of the old highs. I want to see a 2-to-1 is something like a 50% tag. So I don't really like the idea of having to take this much risk, that huge window of risk on this trade. If anything, what I would prefer is that nice little pullback, and then you have to come in here and you have to go, okay, well, where do I have to try and see if I can sneak in to get that 2-to-1? That's like somewhere right around there. So what I'd actually really like to see, I mean, the double bottom, it's great to see on this Luna, the double bottom has been confirmed. But if anything, what I'd love to see, and actually this might be a really good demonstration of sort of, okay, we'll drill down to lower time frames and let's really see if we can sharpshoot our way into this. So I do like the bottom. And actually it's interesting how when I change that to 2-to-1, oh, look at what that is there. So I think that was the trade level. Might even say just like off a clothesline. Well, actually even, I don't know where the level is. Somewhere in there, like right in there, right? So, if anything, what I'd love to see right now is see if we can get lucky. And I'll keep an eye on this, and we'll update this in the daily brief as we go. Well, let's see whether we can get that pull back into here and then join the trade at the appropriate level, because that's where I think really the trade is. I know I did talk about this in the daily brief today, so I just wanted to follow that up with a thought or two. Anyway, so I'm going to keep an eye on that thing there. Actually, probably something along these lines. So we'll keep an eye out for that. All right, so, and I think Luna was in our list, but what should we do here? Should we jump into this Shiba Inu? Is that what do you think our best bet is here?
That's the next coin.
Okay, so this is the sort of Doge derivative, eh?
Yeah. And I think it actually might have done really well the last couple of days. I think they announced on Binance that they were adding it to custody or something like that. Like you could deposit on Binance.
So have you, and Nick, I think, I think you're a good sort of a person to sort of, can you see how this sort of crypto kind of shill goes and how there's like stages of sort of like the pump, and as you sort of get added to exchanges, that brings in more sort of pumpamentals, if you will. What's the symbol of this thing? Is it
SHIB?
SHIB. And I get the impression that, like you said, are you a CPA?
Me? No, I'm by education I'm a chemical engineer, but I work in IT.
Oh, isn't that weird? I heard you say somewhere you had an accounting background. Jeez. Maybe
no, I mean, I'm trying to do my crypto taxes, but I wouldn't necessarily call that an accounting background.
Wow, isn't that bizarre? Why did I think you had an accounting background? That must be somebody else on the site. My apologies. Okay, well, maybe. I find it interesting when I talk to people who have a CPA background and they see how the sort of the game of the pump works in crypto. Now it's kind of like stage after stage after stage, so interesting. What I hear from you guys is Nick, I don't know, Ben and Derek, if you want to add to this, but this was just recently added to Binance on their platform.
I don't know. I need to look up the news now. I heard about it, but it doesn't seem to have done much for like the last 2 weeks. So I don't know. Maybe it was just old news.
Well, I mean, it did look like it pumped a bit there just in the past day. Maybe that's what that was.
But yeah, I thought it was because Binance like opened custody for it on their site.
Okay, well,
is that US or like Binance standard?
I imagine Binance.com.
Okay.
I doubt Binance US would cause any sort of pump.
Right, true.
I guess what I just see here is how long does it take for them to sort of like I don't know, break all of these people's hearts here? Is there actually anything that's going on in the actual story itself that derives any value?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I mean, they were doing some stuff with like, I mean, a lot of ads and stuff like that at some point. More like it feels like a lot of, I don't know, kind of European influence, I guess, like overseas. Like I haven't seen much here, but I know, like I was at one point there was a bunch of like posters and that type of thing up, and that type of stuff up for this like marketing material, I guess is what you call it. So marketing material. I think they had something to do with like a rescue or something like that, like a rescue for actual dogs. And I think they're trying to build a story, but I don't think there's anything that kind of stands out at this point. So.
Oh, because it's a Doge derivative.
Yeah, so I think they had done something with.
Well, if doggies, I suppose, can benefit, that's a good thing. Oh goodness, what an ugly looking chart. That's too bad. I was hoping this bottom would be nice and clean. Clean bottoms. Oh well. Oh, what does that do? Yeah, I just don't really see a hell of a lot to get excited about here. Oh, hello. Actually, I was bidding on an auction site for property, and every time a new bid came in, I heard that sound. Are one of you guys watching an auction site right now? Who is that? Who's clinking? Is that me? Maybe that's mine.
That's you.
It might be something I'm watching. Somebody's outbidding me. I just bought something. Fucking A. No. That'd be awful, eh? Oh, hey, what's going on here? Oh, that's funny. It might be these guys. Yeah, what the hell are you guys doing? It must be these guys. Anyway, I'll put that away. Sorry about that, guys. That's funny. Okay, so back to our story. The interesting thing is does this thing's market cap change a hell of a lot? This is versus Tethers, right? So I get the impression that they're gonna drive the kids crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have to flirt against that low. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And like you guys have heard me say before, wicks and tails like to be eaten. And what do these guys represent? Especially this day. Hey, look at these guys. Market's like here, it beep. Okay, we're gonna close. Then they open it up and they're just like, okay, we're bull. Look at us go, right? Totally ripping it up here. And at one point, right, price was right up at the top of this wick. It was a nice green wick. Everybody was all rocking and rolling, and then the floor just fell out of the market. So. There's a bunch of Derek's buddies up in this wick right up here, right? I almost always ask Derek, I think, who these guys are.
Yeah, these guys are sleeping on the couch for sure.
Anyway, so I don't know. I can't really do a circle very well.
I feel like they'd be in the doghouse on this one.
But
Don't worry, I'll put myself on mute for a minute for the penalty box.
That's a dad joke. You don't have any kids though, do you?
No, I'm old enough though.
That would be a total dad joke. All right. So anyway, you can see there's a bunch of trap bulls up there. They'd love to get out. Even some up in here too. And actually, you could probably even see there was a bunch of people in here, and on that move, they got relieved. So anyway, so there's your trading range, right? Probably there to there, and until this thing actually starts making higher highs and higher lows in earnest, I think the story's over. There's just going to be another one of these cryptos that slowly floats back down to earth. Probably, I love 88.6 on these shit coins, but the problem is, look where the bottom is. I mean, really, there's no reason why these, actually probably even that level was probably a pretty important level. Yeah, you can see. In fact, actually, that's a pretty darn important level, because this is actually, well, it's not the best example, but it is to a certain degree a Benkoff check level. So there is a W down, up, down, and we had to do a couple more. I mean, the worst part about this, guys, is when the dust settles in this space and everybody sort of comes back down to earth. That level, look at that. Actually, Derek and Nick, you've both done the level 2 program with tricking out your charts. What do you think? Does that level kind of speak to you?
Yeah, it's a lot of lines there.
Yeah. So I like to tell people to hunt for these clusters. That'll be an important level. So, first off, there's Benkoff check, but the problem is we went to lower lows. So that's why I was kind of like, that's not really the most apt Benkoff check. But fascinating. Now, these two highs here, look how the market broke out through there, finished. And actually, this is an example where there's some trap bears here. So you can see, beep, it opened up and actually started to head down. It was a big red candle at one point. And then somebody said, nope, get your butt up there. And woohoo, she never looked back. So this is a really interesting, when they talk about supply zones in marketplaces. Let's see how I can do this. I would argue that there is a lot of supply in this area here because of this battle. I don't know if I can do this very well or not. So hopefully you can see the sine wave here. So this was quite a war zone. It don't look very good. Anyway, something like that. Maybe like that. So you can see there's a lot of sort of back and forth here through this. It'd actually be interesting to drill down to a lower time frame, see what kind of war that looks like. And actually also too, because that is a war zone, technically you can do foggy boggies off of that. So foggy boggy, of course, being a very scientific what's the word I'm looking for? That's the scientific name, foggy boggy. You have to say that appropriately. Anyway, Foggenbaum, chaos theory. So let's see if that war zone, because it was off of that really important breakout. It'd be interesting to see whether that war zone right there was actually a tell. Let's see what we got here. So this little war zone painted, you can see. Well, it was okay. There was quite a war here at 4.669. Yeah, it's all right. Let's see, my hunch is probably this level here, that level there, and then that level there. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So, and actually this is cool. This is sort of like that whole confluence idea. Kind of like how we were just talking about confluence of horizontal support and resistance. This would be a confluence of chaos. There to there. Look at. Do you think it's a coincidence that 4669 and that 4669 are the same level, or pretty close? I don't think so. So it's so cool how you could almost make the argument that the market wanted to go to this level, and it was just a question of how was it going to mechanically set itself up to hit this sort of. This is like. And if you ever see the videos on chaos theory, it's like, and actually, a cool way to see this is if we go logarithmic chart. Theoretically, if I draw this out, I don't think this is going to work. I'll leave it. I did this once before on a stock. It was so cool, and you could literally see the bifurcation sort of pattern as we go. Like, here's the range, right? So the first bifurcation is up to there, and the second one is down to the bottom of the range. Then the next one is up to there, and then the next one comes back down to the bottom, or the breakout level. That's not very pretty. Right down into there. So this is sort of how the whole Foggenbaum kind of concept works. like that, right? And so that's the way the market moves higher. And sometimes on stocks, when you change it to a log scale, oh my god, it's just like eureka! Holy shit! Now I see it. It's remarkable. Anyway, totally off topic. Not even quite sure how I got down that vein. Check out the 16.8. Oh yeah, look at that, son of a bitch, eh? Jesus. So the question is, what is the canine reference here? 1688 or something like that. And I think Julian found this 1688. Do either of the three of you know how 1688 is calculated?
No, I don't. I do recall Julian having it on his. That's how when I first saw it, was Julian had it on his chart.
Yeah, same. I have no idea. I have to ask him.
Anyway.
Sharky posts something every once in a while, I think, that kind of has the formulas for him.
Oh, well, I can show you. In fact, I think it's even in here. I can't remember which one I put it on, though. It's just one of these spreadsheets that I have here. Shitcoin 5,000. Hey, man, we're sitting here not doing anything on these. Just twiddling our thumbs. The good part about it is most of these shitcoins have survived. Oh, there it is. Okay, so can you guys see that?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what Sharky posts every once in a while.
So I can understand 877 and 1.13. You know, you guys have done the harmonics. I guess, well, you've learned about the extension 1.13, eh, Ben? And 88.6. So you can see how they all work together. 786, of course, my favorite fib, 1.272, and then there's 4. This is an interesting thing, right? 4.669, but this number comes out 4.672. I find that interesting. So something odd's going on there. It might just be that this 0.786 number is actually quite a bit longer. I don't know. Anyway, Mountain Man is the golden ratio, 2.617. Oh, interesting. And this is odd. I find this kind of interesting. Technically, and let's quiz the audience. Actually, maybe let's do it on YouTube. You guys should all know this on YouTube. Is this level actually a Fibonacci? Is this 0.0 or 0.5? Is it actually in the Fibonacci sequence? Pretty easy answer, but if you don't know it, let's see if anybody. You guys are talking. What the hell are you guys going on about over there? Putin making speech now. Rumors invasion has begun. Nothing official. All right, wonderful. If anything, well, the problem is we won't really have a resolution until the Americans actually start fighting. Then we'll know. The market's voting. So this reminds me of Saddam. When Saddam invaded Iraq, there was a funny little 6 months in the lull in the market. And oil went shooting higher and stock markets all came off. And then literally the moment the Americans actually said, yep, well, we're going in and we're going to commit to defending Kuwait. And it was like a downhill slide for Saddam. I remember that. And then literally the day the Americans actually started shooting, the US dollar index just took off. And that was it. All right, so the answer I'm looking for is no! Yeah, very good. So we actually attribute this level to WD Gann. But I do find it interesting that when you do these mathematical relationships, they come out and actually are fractal kind of thinking. You guys heard me talk about the parking garage. And so in an interesting sort of way, I do find it fascinating that if we do the same math, it comes out to basically half of the range expressed sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Extensionally? Is that such a word? Is twice the range. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And, you know, if you study head and shoulders patterns, that is their ultimate expression. It's basically, it's a range consolidation. and then a resolution either one direction or the other, and then just a replication of the range going the other way. So it's kind of cool to keep that in the mix because it keeps you honest as a trader. 38.2. In fact, actually, I suppose we could even make this 38.2. I don't know what happens when you do that. 38.2. I don't know whether the math. Oh, yeah, so the math changed here. So 2.618. There's that 2.618 number. Isn't that interesting how 38.2 comes out at 2.617800105, but then 61.8 comes out the exact opposite. And then notice, isn't that interesting how the golden ratio comes out the exact opposite? So there's obviously some sort of reciprocal mathematical relationship between these two numbers. I think it's just is 38.2 minus 100? Does that come out to 61.8?
Yeah, not exactly the way you said it, but yes, they add up to 1.
Right. So that's probably what's going on there. But it just, if anything, it just reinforces how powerful these damn numbers are. You know, the universe just keeps bumping into them. This is a fib that I don't really trade with, but it is referenced in fib studies. And, you know, a lot of default fibs setups will have this 23.6 in there. 4.237? I'd be curious whether anybody uses that number. Or 1.301? Or I guess 1.31? Is that what that would be? 1.3089? I've never used either of those numbers, but yeah, they might play a role. I just don't. I'm not too familiar with that. So anyway, so it's kind of an interesting mathematical relationship. So this brings me to why 1688. What is it about 1688? And I did the math backwards here, and I plugged 1688, and I use this number. And it spits out sort of the base fib as 0.94076. Does that mean anything to anybody? And I'm asking genuinely. I don't know. You know, that great Del Moody guy, he's probably fucking smarter than 2 or 3 of me put together. So you tell me, Mr. Great Del Moody. I mean, does this mean anything in the science world? I don't know. And anybody else? You know, if you happen to know the relevance of these numbers, I would be curious. And, you know, always a student of the market and all that, right? So, okay, so enough of your blibber blabbering, Brian. The market's melting down here and people are jumping out of windows, so you might want to pay attention to what the fuck's going on.
No, I just thought it was very pertinent that Costco comes in and is like, yeah, Putin's talking war, and then Bitcoin just dumps $1,000 or so.
1785 on the forwards, or I guess these are the futures now. Actually, we can say futures. Isn't that funny? I spent so fucking long training myself. Can't say Bitcoin futures. Can't say Bitcoin futures. And now, by default, I can't put the two words Bitcoin futures together. Anyway, so this is a trade level for me. You know, that's the interesting thing about this. You see where ATR is. You see, we talked about this earlier. So if anything, this makes perfect sense. Let's see how price acts. So, you know, in the daily brief tomorrow, let's someone remind me, one of you three, remind me. Let's take a look at how this played out here tomorrow morning. You know, I mean, the interesting thing, what I just talked about there a moment ago, I suppose. I don't know. In fact, actually, I think I did do a study like this, and it didn't go over very well with the public. They hate when I do stuff like this. Where the hell was that one? Oh, darn. Oh, actually, you know what? It might have been over here. BTC. Yeah, it's a nice, pretty, neat chart. There we go. Yeah, that's easy to see. No. Okay, well, no, I didn't do the write-up on here, but I could have sworn I labeled a whole bunch of bot, oh, darn, whole bunch of bot levels, but nope, I don't see it there, darn it. Is it here? Oh, yeah, here we go, it's this one. Crazy nut job. There we go. Oh boy, that's ugly, eh? Fuck. So is this what's playing out right now? If it is the case, I wanted to see a third high to risk against. Is that enough of a high to justify taking that bot? Ugh, oh boy, that's a tough one. You can see the M top up there. And here we are just walking our way down this trend line. But we just came into a key... Oh, actually, I guess maybe we didn't. Did we just break that? Oh, yeah. So, actually, I remember we talked about this recently, eh? Down, up, down, breakout. I think that was a trade level. So these, what would we call these lows in here? And actually, really just that one low.
The noob stop.
Yeah, it looks to me like they got blown out, eh? Boosh. See ya. So the question really now is, do they take out this low? And so, as I was saying, like the day traders trading the futures, they actually go into Spidey mode here. So if you see this dump here and you see it on a bull div, then the day trader guys, they're going to start getting excited. So that's like this chart. And then you drill down. Look, kind of like what I was saying earlier off of this 9-minute. So I guess the dump was a little bit more exaggerated than I was expecting, eh? So I went little polite dump, then ha, and it went kaboom. So that's off the table. Anyway, did it? Oh, see, and here, look at this. This is even worse. I can absolutely tell you, Craig would look at this and he would go, yuck. We don't want to see a... I remember I was saying earlier, can we get the bull div? And look at that. No bull div. In fact, we got a new M in there. Yuck. That's brutal. So, looks like this is going to have to consolidate. So, all of that sort of talk about bull divs over. Oh, this is an interesting concept. What do you think just happened here?
Maybe the Bears took control.
Sure looks like it, hey?
Somebody went into a cave and started ringing a cowbell and woke something up.
Yeah. Did you guys see that bear in California is like the size of a school bus? Have you seen that bear? So somebody just went and pissed him off. Wow, look at that, eh? Ouch. That hurts. And look at that. We're even... So, new M's in MACD. That's not good. Huge volume impetus breakdowns. And it looks like we're going through these lows. This was the low that I talked about there a few minutes ago. So, do we hold this low? And it sure doesn't look like it from a momentum perspective, eh? And if we don't hold those lows, where's the next support line? Look left. Oh, boy, all the way down here. Yuck, what a mess. Well, again, this is interesting, right? So Putin invades, and can you see, this is fascinating. Crude oil just going absolutely nuts again. But interesting, and the gold rising, that makes sense. But interesting how crypto, it's not acting as that sort of, oh, this is a fear asset, and you know, if you want to get out of the system, you go run into Bitcoins. I don't see that happening here.
Yeah, crypto's been very correlated to equities and the NASDAQ specifically the last few months. And so...
No. I would say its entire life.
Or its entire life. And so, I mean, it definitely isn't performing as it's marketed.
Yeah. It feels like the only time it really, I don't know, did what we thought it might do was when... they were just printing more money, stimulus, and that's when it was kind of going up and up. And I don't know. Other than that, it seems like it's where people expect it to be on par with gold or sort of the new gold or whatever. I mean, it's kind of showing right now that it's not. So,
yeah, it's fascinating. I think what ends up happening here, like I said, is if the U.S. actually does get drawn into this and the U.S. actually starts shooting, because I guess the Russians are shooting now. Costco executive member says, Putin, those who try to prevent us will receive a military response. This response will lead to Consequences that you have not encountered. Oh, wonderful. We are ready for anything. There you go. Party on, Wayne. So, clearly, he's calling the West bluff here. So, yeah, it's been awfully nice knowing you guys.
I think we'll be all right. U.S. isn't going to get involved with that. I don't think. I think they.
And if that's the case, then
I think Putin probably has a little bit of something on the administration and stuff. The way he's kind of putting himself out there.
Huh. That's an interesting observation. Well, anyway, I suppose we can move on. So, I like the... Oh, yeah. So, remember we talked about this a few minutes ago, right? The next key support line is this line all the way down here. So, look left. And the fact that momentum just looks so poor here now. I think our next... well, let's see how she acts at the ATR. And let's see. You might find that there's like a big tail, then it bounces back, but there's nothing here momentum-wise to say anything. There's a bottom. It's interesting. I think we had a megaphone working here, and are we coming into a megaphone line here? This will be interesting to see. Oh no, this is just a little piddly little trend line. Anyway. Okay, well, great to see the corn doing as awesome as it is. Is there anything really pointing? You know what I thought was interesting was, who was it? The other day, somebody told me that they actually got a double off in crypto. Chris told me he got a double off in crypto. What was it? It was a AI3 or something like that. Does that sound familiar to you guys at all?
API3 is a crypto coin.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it is, but that is a coin.
I did hear somebody talking. Well, I didn't hear. I mean, I didn't see his trade or anything, but I was watching something and they were talking about that the other day. API3.
That's an oracle.
Interesting. We're getting an 8
Oh,
here.
okay.
So API3.
Yep, that would be it.
Yeah, so son of a gun, eh? Way to go, Chris. Nice job. And I suppose that everything that we teach on the site, I mean, it's awfully hard to find the W. I suppose you could have bought that.
It's got a ton. It's got at least another year of history.
490
elsewhere.
Yeah, interesting. We got isn't that interesting? So we're basically at or around the breakout level. That's exactly where it stopped. So you could totally tell there were a bunch of people that bought in here, and as soon as we got into doubles, that was it. It just wasn't going to be anything more. Well, where should we look at this to actually see? So, maybe KuCoin. Hey, there you go. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, it's a good-looking chart. You know what this is? This looks like a narrow sideways channel, eh? So, actually, and I could even show you a Doge chart where it looks like this. Yeah, so I think I'd like to see this thing actually W now to give you that buy signal. So, anyway you shake it, I suppose, there's your floor. Nice little W right there to sort of get things going, eh? Probably something along those lines. Reload zones. Boosh. 88.6 is always a fun level. So, there's your floor. Look at that beautiful tail, eh? That's why I love sometimes just working stink bids, because sometimes, and especially in crypto, you can sometimes get some absolute gifts right down in that level right there. So, there's a good example of an absolute gift. Popped up, as Chris said, he lets them go on a half, sell half on a double kind of idea. So he's got a risk-free trade, and I love hearing people when they can get that, because that's the best way to play this game, if you can somehow just get into risk-free coins. And just forget about the rest. If they take off, awesome. If not, no big deal. So I guess going back to our Shiba Inu, or Shiba Inu, I guess was the name we were looking at there a moment ago. I think it was off of this page. Yeah, that's this one, right? Yeah. So, there's your bottom way down there. And we talked a little bit about those levels. Was it this? Oh, isn't that interesting? That's still Sunlight API. Oh, darn. I guess I lost it. Yeah, there it is. So, oh, come on. There we go. Cool example of 1688 coming into the equation. That's how we got off on this tangent, right? That was like, what, about a half an hour ago or something? Sorry, guys. So, if we go and put in a big W here, well, rock and roll. But right now, I don't know. I don't really see a hell of a lot to get excited about. And I think if I was thinking about where this thing ultimately bottomed, it should probably bottom down there. And now, fucking Bitcoin's going to go and shit the bed here. It's probably not going to help the crypto space. Maybe something we could look at that we haven't... Oh, look at that. Hello. Interesting. Yeah, keep an eye out for divergences down there, guys. Wouldn't be surprised if a trade comes in off of that. But what I wanted to show you was... Where the hell is that? Yeah. Now this is interesting. So this is Bitcoin dominance, and usually when this thing is rallying, it means that Bitcoin is in favor, if you will. Altcoins out of favor. And then when this thing is trending down, altcoins usually are having a pretty good time. So interesting to see what we're seeing here, eh, guys? I don't know whether I would actually call that a breakdown yet, but if we go through this low here, I do believe that's going to be a breakdown. And I like the idea of things like the Luna network and stuff. I like the price chart there. Whereas I'm not really overly excited about the Bitcoin price chart. Actually, I was showing people sort of my expectations here going forward for the Bitcoin chart. I think it's going to look something along these lines. But I think we're going to play against these lows here. So this is going to be really messy down in here for the next little while. But I could, and if anything, maybe what we should do is we should just take a quick boo at what Ethereum is doing. So it's down $100. It's actually not as weak as Bitcoin, I think. Candle body lows for trade location. We could still come a bit lower here. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you guys here. This one. So there's the Ethereum chart. So key support, ATR range. It looks like it still could come down a bit more. Bottom of this is a really good example of a price channel. So I just did this channel just off of this market structure high and then dragged the lows back against this move. So really all this is doing is measuring this price action here, that big rally, and then this M. And actually you can see how the market really obeyed this channel quite a bit here. So obviously I think I'm in tune with the market. So we just had a battle at midpoint channel line. That often happens. We should come down and tag this low down in here. So if that's the case, then I think that this has got to come down, eat these tails. Maybe there's a trade that sets up down here. If anything, this might be a good example of Ben and his Benkoff check. Maybe that was the Benkoff check. Maybe we have to come down a little bit more down into here. I don't know. But I don't know. You guys tell me maybe. Maybe that would be a better way to frame this. When you guys look at this, do you think... where the hell is it? Oh, it's around here somewhere. Nope. There. Do you think that's broken down yet? Or do you think that's still pointing in Bitcoin's favor?
No, man, it hasn't signaled yet. Like it says, I mean, it's in and out, but it's not until it passes through that, I don't know, that point there, that where your line is, that resistance right there, it's not confirmed.
Yeah. Often I have a bad habit of putting the cart before the horse, and I'll go, "Oh yeah, that's broken. That's broken." But I think you're right, Derek. I don't think it has yet. Fascinating. So I actually this would be good. This would be a good trivia question. Maybe we don't even know what the answer is today. Does Mr. Vitalik and Mr. Putin, do they have a working relationship? I noticed that there's quite a bit of instability in Vitalik's new country. Where's Vitalik live nowadays? Doesn't he live in one of these Western countries?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know the relationship with those two though, because I want to say at some point it was like a big deal that he went to meet Putin and this and that, and
Yeah.
that was a couple years ago. That was several years ago, though, I
Yeah,
believe.
it was. Yeah.
I do remember hearing something about that.
Yeah. And Vitalik, I think he was born and raised here. Or not born and raised. He was raised after immigrating in Canada.
Oh, okay.
And actually, he set up an office in Switzerland. Switzerland? Yeah. And I remember when I went over to Europe and toured around, I did a picture outside of his office doing the Vitalik pose. Sort of like that. You ever seen any of his pictures? His head's always sort of like cockeyed like that. So I did one of those poses outside his office. Nobody really found that very amusing though. And we were like knocking on the door going, "Hey, we want an autograph, open up," and nobody would answer the door. Jerks. Well, I wonder if he still has his offices there. That was in Zug, Switzerland. You guys ever heard of Zug?
No, sounds like money though.
Yeah,
I've never been there or seen it, but it sounds like it should have like some gold doors or streets or something.
they live pretty well, no doubt about it. I remember the gentleman who I crashed with when I was in Switzerland. He was enamored with Lamborghinis at that point, but it was really cool because I think I told you he loaded up on ADA back last cycle. So he had like tons and tons and tons of ADA. And you saw what it's done here this cycle. So I said, yeah, you should probably have enough to be able to buy a Lambo now. And he's like, yeah, that's old me. I'm not really into that bling. And that's an interesting thing I've noticed with a lot of guys is especially the ones that it took a few years to build up. Once you actually get to the point where you can afford one of those big fancy cars, kind of like, I think I'd rather just leave the money in the bank, thanks. Those things depreciate so fucking fast, it's ridiculous. Anyway. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Holy moly, Brian, sorry. I have no life. I live through you guys, so that's why I'm talking so much here. Bear with me. Shibu Inu. I think we concluded that probably not a hell of a lot to get excited about there, right? I don't know. Did you guys were you guys overly enamored by this?
No.
Actually, looking at this chart, this is a logarithmic look at this asset. It's kind of interesting when you look at these logarithmically. It doesn't really look like this thing's trading at the bottom end of its range yet, does it?
No. I just wonder about these meme coins, and this thing is getting I was looking at the volume, and it's like 1.7 billion. It's like, is this what people use to wash money or something?
Because probably have a lot.
Because there is no. I mean, I think we probably be on agreement. There is really no fundamental. That we're aware of. So why is it rated so high? These aren't retail traders trading this thing with that type of volume.
I would agree with you, sir. And they also too, and here's the problem is that define illegal. Is immoral illegal? It's a huge debate because there are some societies in this world that they don't really care, and if you did something because they happen to make something look a certain way, and you lost money because of that, they don't feel any moral responsibility at all. It's your mistake for being a sucker. So that's, I think there's a lot of that in crypto. They used to I remember distinctly for a very long period of time, your US government wouldn't even talk about things like Bitcoin ETFs because it was blatantly obvious that the Chinese were quote unquote wash trading and basically manipulating the price in the marketplace. So, what do you do? I think you're right, Derek. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. But that's got to be sort of a caveat emptor kind of thing, eh? And if anything, this is the huge sort of, if you're going to participate in a name like this, and if I'm not mistaken, there's quite a few coins out, right?
Oh yeah, an enormous amount.
Right.
Tons
so,
and tons and tons.
Like a trillion or more.
All right. So if you're going to participate in a name like this, you have to understand that you're buying a momentum story. It's just as simple as that. You are not buying value, right? Right? Can we all agree? I mean, you might even argue, what is the value of one of these coins? Is there any value to this at all? How do you even say what a value of one of these things is? And usually, if you can't cut and dry and say, well, they have X amount of dollars in the bank, and so that's what we're basing value off of. One coin is worth $1 or whatever. If you can't say that, then there is no conversation, and that's the end of the. It's just as simple as that. There is no oh no but. It's just there is no value to these things, and it is purely a momentum play. Can you get rich on momentum plays? Fuck yeah. You can get stinking rich. Does the public generally make money on these kind of ideas? Not usually. I thought it was an interesting anecdote. I couldn't figure out until I really thought about it a while. When that Doge pump happened last year, there were people on YouTube that were doing like sort of Doge pump sort of live video groups, and every time the guy talked, he finished all of his sentences with "ah la 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 la," and I couldn't for the longest time figure out why he was doing that. But then I thought it made perfect sense if you were trying to trip up sort of the Google scam alert, hey, these guys are talking too much about this one particular thing kind of algorithm. If you sprinkled in, and the guy did it completely randomly, he'd be like right in the la 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 of a sentence, and then it would just really be part of the la 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 conversation. I mean, really weird. Never seen anybody talk like that before. But if you were trying to trip up the Google algorithm and make sure that you wouldn't get caught for like scamming or pumping or any of that kind of stuff, that's actually probably a pretty smart strategy. So these guys in these pump groups and these shills, man, they are smart as fuck. These people are so smart. And diabolical too. That's the worst part about this. Diabolical. So be careful in the crypto space, everyone. You better have somebody like Stewart in your back pocket to actually tell you what one of these darn things is actually worth. Good part about it, I think, I don't know. Let me do a poll. If you are looking at investing some money across the board, do you think you can actually identify value in crypto? We'll start at the bottom. Derek, what do you think? Do you think you could identify value?
I think in general, yes. Well, I don't know. I feel like I can because, I mean, some of the metrics I probably would look at was more of like from a technical perspective, I could understand a lot of things, right? And because that's sort of my background. And then I would probably also kind of look at adoption, that type of thing. So I could probably get a feeling for it. But in terms of how I guess you evaluate value in the traditional market, I would say no. I mean, I don't think those metrics are quite out there.
I think
At
the
least-
POW coins, I think it's fairly easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are fewer and far between though. Like I'd say they're probably in like less than 5 or 10% of coins now are proof of work.
Okay, so, well, let's head on to the next panel. Ist. Nick, what do you think? Do you think you could identify value in the crypto space?
I think I can make a good estimate on a lot of proof of stake coins, but a lot of times, I mean, you never really know. I think obviously proof of work, cost of production, it's fairly easy to say where value is there. On proof of stake coins, it's to me more and more about revenue. What are the protocols actually bringing in as money? At least I play a lot in the DeFi space and the gaming space now, and it's user base, it's revenue, it's like for games, how many people are playing the games? Are they spending anything on the games? What's the actual game economics? There's usually a coin that people get for free that you usually don't want to touch, because if people are getting something for free, their cost basis is zero. And then there's usually one that's around like governance or something, the controlling the game. And so that one I usually place a higher value on, things like that. But it's definitely a work in progress for me still to actually find fundamental overvaluedness or undervaluedness still.
Yeah. And Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a really hard thing to do. I guess, yeah, like short of cost of production, and it's something that I've struggled with finding a repeatable way to apply it to my strategy. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it at the moment.
Yeah, like I know that the three of you have like sort of favorite coins. You know, like something like the video that the Theta platform. I think that was a favorite of yours, wasn't it, Derek?
Mhm.
Is it?
Yes.
So, would you be able to actually put a value on one of those tokens, or is it just sort of like, well, if more people are going to be using it, it's going to be going up. If less people are going to be using it, it's going to go down.
Yeah, I would say that in general. Yeah. At least that's
Okay.
I think there is something too with something like Theta. You have things to relate it to in the non-crypto world. You have platforms like Twitch or YouTube, etc., that you can see this is the overall kind of size of an audience it could reach.
Yeah.
Or user base, revenue, etc., that it could reach. So you can do some relative comparisons with some of these as well.
Cool. Yeah. If anything, that's the kind of work I'd love to see from us going forward. So anyway, kind of cool. Okay, so I think the general conclusion here is this isn't a name I would probably want to buy because I don't even really know what the fundamental story is here. Technically speaking, if I was jazzed about this, we are down in reload zones. It looks like we hit a high to low trend line here, so I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of bottom down in this area. Is this, this I guess at best would be sort of like a Nanny Nibbles candidate. And if anything, if you were nibbling along here, you did get a nice rally there that maybe let you get off half of the position at double your purchase price. And now it looks like we're stuck in basically a trading range. Bottom of the range about 170, top end of the range about 370. So what a surprise. That's basically your double back and forth, back and forth. Is this momentum something that's pointing up right now? No. You'd want to see W's coming in here on all of these momentum indicators, even volume. So right now I think the thing's in drift mode. And I hate to say it, but it does look like, no, actually it hasn't happened yet. But keep your eyes peeled on this low right here. If that's taken out, that would paint a lower high and lower low, which means we'll probably have to go back down against here. And considering the negative sentiment that we're hearing about Mr. Putin and what he's up to, does it make sense that maybe the bid is coming out of risk assets here and speculative fluffy names here that don't really serve a hell of a lot of purpose in this world? I hate to say it, but I think that's what's going on here as well. So, I don't know.
I did look. There are 550 trillion of these out there, with a maximum supply of 1 quadrillion.
All right. Well, we can leave that in the database, and if we don't even talk about too many names tonight, you can just blame it on Brian. He's talking way too much as usual. We got one done. Oh no, not yet. Tease. Come on. Where's the chart? Wait for it. Wait for it. Copy link to chart. All right, there we go. So we're not going to look at Terra USD because it's a stable coin. Ooh, Polygon. This is one of your favorite ones, isn't it, Nick?
It definitely was last summer. Absolutely.
Past tense?
No, I mean, it's fine. I have other favorites now. I still like Polygon. But
okay. Where should we look at this thing?
I'd probably just pick one towards the top.
KuCoin?
It's probably been on KuCoin for a while.
Boosh. Oh boy. Ouch. Oh, goodness. Yeah. This looks a little tough.
That's not a good one. Let me find you a better chart.
Yeah. This is Matic.
Yeah, try looking up. Yeah, look up Matic and that Binance one.
Oh, isn't that weird? I guess maybe because I typed in USD.
They changed their name in the spring to summer of last year.
Oh, Jesus. Look at that.
It had a big run up at the beginning of the year.
Oh, goodness. I mean, here's the kick in the pants. If you haven't taken profits, for heaven's sakes, maybe consider taking some. But I sure hope you took some profits up top there. Yeah, that's painful to see.
I was going to say, I don't think I've owned any since maybe August. But...
All right. Well, good old Foggenbombs kind of give us an idea of where this thing was pointing up to. Interesting. That even went beyond 1688. Is there a third? I think there is a 32 or something up there. So, wow, one hell of a rally. Actually, I guess this is a really good example of what happens through the crypto blow-off tops, eh? And how ironic. What do you think? A lot of crypto kids now are going to sort of think back longingly about the DeFi summer and all that kind of stuff. Remember Farmer Dave on the site? Man, that guy, he pulled out so much money out of the market. Oh, it's crazy. So, I mean, anyway you shake it, man, this thing's coming off a long way. What's scary is, let's see if, I don't know whether you guys remember this. What did I say? Thank you, Mama. Mama says, happy to hear you, my man. Thank you, Mama. Mama. Actually, it was cool. I actually sung a song today, and Chris knew which song it was that I was singing. First time it happened.
I think all of us could say that was Bohemian Rhapsody.
All right, well, that's good. Good.
And if you can't, just nod and smile, and we'll go with my comment.
Anyway, I was quizzing the TRI group today. If this thing is top down and you want a nice, simple technical objective, and this works really well, of course, in like big, indexes and stuff like that. What's actually the easiest technical target you can possibly come up with? And ironically enough, it is literally not taking this off of this number here, this low here. It's actually taking this number off of 0. What do I want to do here? I want to go coordinates, and I want to just go 0. So this is kind of a cool thing. If you're watching this and you've never sort of done any technical analysis at all before, This is actually a favorite sort of concept of a guy named W.D. Gann. He would just say, you want a nice simple target? That's it. So actually that's not interesting how, this is a log scale, so obviously it looks a little distorted if we go to regular chart. That's kind of cool, eh? So this is just doing nothing more than using 0 as your baseline, and look at that technical objective. Bang, straight into there. It's remarkable how consistent this thing is. So anyway, it's done. It's 50% retracement off the top. I suppose like Luna and stuff like that, they've also done these. I hope, if anything, what this means is we're closer to bottoms than tops. I suppose if we did things like, and if we just, this is so close to 0, it might as well be 0, eh? But where would I want to buy this thing? Well, good old reload zones. Hey, there we go. So I've often told you guys, and actually I could see this happening again. This is our Benkoff check level right there. Doink. So that's 78.6. I've often told you guys that what I often like to see is the market will actually go beyond that level. Come back, rally to that 78.6, then back down, and then actually break out. And you look back over time and you go, gee whiz, the damn market bottom right off 78.6. So is that our future? Ugh. Yeah, we could do a little bit of fortune telling. Good old Foggenbaum. Let's see what this tells us. Boom. 2.618. 4. Oh boy. All the way down there, eh? I don't think that's realistic, but I don't think we have to owe money. That would suck. Maybe it's something along the lines of that's the Foggenbaum range there. Oh, look at that, 4 points. Ooh, look at that, eh? And this is where what I like to do is I like to take the technical tools. Like we've all learned them. 2.618s, 4.669s, 8.77, 16.88, right? We all know it. We say it in our sleep, right? Right. Okay, we'll just agree. 61.8, 78.6, 88.6, right? 38.2s. Then what you want to do is you want to like throw on the studies and just ask, is the market respecting these levels? And so when I did this, what made me go, ooh, holy shit, is can you see how market breaks 2.618? And didn't I even just say this earlier about a half an hour ago? Look how the market broke and then came right back and nice kiss of the original breakdown. And then it dumps down to 4.669 and then rallies back to a nice kiss of the 2.618.
Uh-oh, so what you're saying is maybe heading down to that 877.
So where is that?
Right at your 886.
Oh, all right. Oh, even better. God, this stuff writes itself.
You got confluence there.
Well, somebody got conned, that's for sure. Unfortunately, I think these people got conned a bit. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, again, kind of what I just said there a minute ago, and totally perfect. I swear, man, somebody should write this shit down and like teach a course or something on this stuff. It's remarkable. There's 8.66. I'm trying to get it so you can see the numbers. They're so close. Oh well, I'm gonna have to drag this out over here. Okay, I mean, look at that. That is confluence. That's incredible. And we just went through that low, didn't we? It's so funny. At the beginning of this whole COVID thing, this is where God gave me this tool, and I've just spent basically this COVID imprisonment. And it's basically been about 2 years, hasn't it? I can't believe it. It's actually been 2 years. Just practicing. And I didn't even really want to teach this stuff until I had enough miles under my tires that I felt like, okay, I've seen enough examples. I have a pretty good idea of how to do this. But hopefully what you saw was, I started off with big studies here that painted like negative numbers. So obviously that doesn't make any sense. And then you just sort of, okay, well, this is a structural level, so does this make sense? And it's like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And then the fact that the boys go, oh, yeah, that happens to line up perfectly off 887. I mean, you heard me earlier say, well, usually what ends up happening is these things actually go shooting beyond. I'll have my bid here because Brian loves his 78.6s. So I'll have my bid there. It'll go shooting beyond me, and it's like, oh, yeah, man, look how cool I am. And then, oh, Jesus, oh, no, stop going down. Oh, you sons of bitches, right? And then finally, okay, so I don't look so bad. And then it comes back down. Oh, maybe I look bad. And then it turns bottoms, and you go, okay, well, it turns out I didn't have to pay attention after all. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. So that is a super cool tutorial. Everybody just got... honestly, people, that little video, what I just did there, that should be seen by millions of people. It really should. I mean, I can't stress how important what I just did there was. I can't stress it enough. It's remarkable. And yeah, the irony of it all is that, you guys probably don't think it, but I think all of you who are watching this video and you are getting such a fucking gift here. I mean, like 20, 30 years ago, if I had the ability to learn about that, where would I be now? 20, 30 years from now. Man, just think, Ben, if you could just study this for the next 20, 30 years, where do you think you'll be? I mean, the sky's the limit. I'm just walking you through this. I can't believe how cliche this is. I don't know.
I can tell you in 40 years, I'll be an old person, so.
Yeah.
But.
Well, actually, you're pretty close to my age, eh? I always look at Ben. I don't know what it is. I think it's because he's just so cute. But he looks like a young guy. And I mean, cute and adorable. Like, the bunnies on my screen. PMA for the win, everybody. Bunny, say hi. Not like, all that. People to get the wrong idea.
I guess the question is, do you have enough P and D to wait until it gets down there?
Well,
to wait for that, right? That's
and if anything, part. That's where the 20 years experience comes in. Because after about 10, 15 years ago, nah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. 10, 15 years now, he's going to go, okay, fuck it. I've seen it enough, I believe. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. Okay, let's keep moving forward. So, can't touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. But... as we were kind of saying earlier, and sort of half of the reason why we wanted to go through this list again is that now at least you have some levels. So if you are a Matic fan, clearly I think it's pretty obvious, right? You kind of want to wait for price action down in this area, right? And once we start getting beyond Mountain Man, if you're like a little old lady and you're just like, Brian, I don't want to try and time the market. Well, just go in once every few months. I mean, not even this often. Just go in. You want to buy like a little 0.5%, 1% of your portfolio. Don't let it go more than 5%. But that's not a bad idea. It's not. But can't touch it here. Still too expensive. So I think I will leave the image like that. And let's come back in a few months and let's see what happens. My hunch is the market's actually going to bottom ultimately off of that low there, right? And Benkoff check, right? That's where I think it bottoms. But we do have the 877 there as well. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. All right. So the cool part about it is I get to include the Terra USD as one that we did tonight. So actually we're up to 3 so far, right? Crypto.com. These guys have a credit card, don't they?
Yep, and they sponsor a lot of stuff. And
CRO. This is the old MCO guys.
Had a Super Bowl ad too, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they paid big money. They paid big money for that one.
Didn't they? I think they also didn't they buy the rights to name like stadiums and shit like that.
They did. I think it was Staples Center.
So not anymore. CRO.
No, yeah, I think it's Crypto.com Arena now or whatever it is. But
So where do we want to look at this thing? And do I actually? Is that even the best way to do it? Maybe I should go CRO and give us what we could do in. Where's Binance? Binance isn't even on here. Wow, that's weird. Anyway, where should we look at this? Coinbase? Like that wouldn't be that much data. I mean, this thing's been around forever. I used to own the MCO coins from last cycle, and I think we got them changed into CRO. So, pretty chart. I always like to see that. If anything, this is if you see your coin doing this. I mean, this is actually so pretty. Where that's a big W, and then this right here. Oh my God, that's absolutely textbook. And if anything, what you want to look for is you want to look for names that are doing this, but then don't go too fucking crazy when you actually see this, because when it does, oh my goodness, what does that say? Does that say Kronos in the top right? Kronos. Is this not even the right thing? This might be something totally different.
No, that should be right.
Yeah,
but it's
Kronos. It's called Kronos.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, I thought it was. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, that's
Let's see. Is it the same thing?
That's roughly what the chart has done.
Looks the same. I will do it over here if you want. If anything, actually, there's another little tell here. What do we say? Wicks and tails like to be what? So that means technically this thing probably go all the way up here, And I remember Doge. It had huge upside range, and people thought, "There's no way Doge is ever gonna trade back up there." But you saw what Doge did. Adam says, "I think Brian looking at the wrong one." Well, it looks like it's the same chart. I mean, we can do it off of here. It's the same thing, where you had this sort of wide base. This doesn't look nearly as pretty like this. This doesn't have that low in there. And remember, too, this was MCO. So, the irony of it all, and I think, actually, the MCO coins are still around. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there they are. Oh, maybe this is something totally different. Who knows? I think that these things were handed in. I can't remember, though. OKOEX. Yeah, you know what? I think that's the old MCO there. So I think this was the big CRO transition. So isn't that interesting? MCO's still alive over there on OKCoin. Anyway, back to our story here. And we can do Coinbase. Let's see what we got here. There we go. So there you go. But no data though, right? And so this is the sad part about people on Coinbase is they look at this and they go, "Oh, that's the whole thing," but it's not even remotely the whole story, right? So I'm not quite sure where to look at this. Bybit? Oh, that would be no. Oh, crap. Anyway, do any of you guys have the credit card?
No, I don't. I didn't. I was supposed to look into it and I didn't. I thought it'd be a decent idea to get rewards and that type of thing, but yeah, I don't have one.
I've been waiting for it to be a buy because you need to stake so much crow to get the higher levels of the cards, which have more percent cash back and stuff. And so I was looking at it when it was going parabolic there at that 50 to 60 cent range. And I was like, I'll wait till it's a buy at some point. Then I'll get into it and get a card.
Probably smart. Benkoff check. My hunch is there's probably some sort of floor in that window in there. Right down in here. So it's that high as well. Probably if you did profile, you'd probably see that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wasn't terribly impressed with these guys kind of when I got into crypto in early 2021, but I think they did a lot of really good things last year, and they grew on me as the year went along. So it is one I'm interested in accumulating before this next bull, whether that's, I don't know, 2024, 2025, whenever it is. But
Well, and actually you can see this moves in a pretty relatively consistent sine wave, eh? So I could probably tell you pretty much when you should probably get interested. So we can go boom, boom, something like that. Come on, you. I don't know exactly where the floor is, but probably this cycle here. Boom. Boom. Something like that. Which means, boom, boom. Interesting how we peak so early in the cycle. This is actually the as best as it gets. Now we got to go through a period of correction. So it looks like your buy window, and actually this kind of makes sense too. Well, I wouldn't even be surprised if we actually, the buy window I think comes in like sort of the fall of this year. But anyway, hopefully you guys can sort of see that sort of, looks like there's probably a floor somewhere.
That could lead into kind of that end of year decennial type rally as well. If you're looking at buying in August or so and having the peak of that be maybe January or so, that next bubble. Because didn't the decennial say that towards the end of the year we should have a run up?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess sort of some sort of trough in this window in here. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then obviously lots of stuff can happen, but
yeah, I wonder if something like that there is that counter trend rally into the end of the year, and then we have to come back down next year. That wouldn't surprise me. So that's probably what I do, and then of course good old reload zones. My hunch is that's basically a reload zone in there. So we go off the whole range and go reload zones. Boom! Hey, what a surprise. So, if anything, I guess this is probably another example where the darn thing comes down. It goes beyond, Brian's in here saying, well, it's all right if you are a nanny nibbler, you can start your purchases. In here, you're like, oh, Brian, you're so cool. And now you're like, oh, Brian, you're an idiot. Right. My personal favorite place to be a buyer is that 78.6. And as I've said to you a few times already tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do something like that. And ultimately down the road, you do see the bottom off the 78.6, but there's a whole bunch of shit in here. And then it would probably be really interesting to do foggy boggies off of these kind of consolidation tops and see if they start painting some objectives. So like this one here. Well, there's that there. That's a big one. There, and 4669. Whoa, all the way down there. I don't know about that. Seems awfully large. I do like this little one. I wonder, maybe something like that. Interesting, 469877. We're getting some confluence of levels here. That's a bit scary. If that's the case, right, and we lose these lows, oh boy, all hell could break loose down here. And maybe that makes sense. Like, do we actually have to swim against these lows? How many are there out on this thing? Isn't there like 100 bazillion, gazillion, jazillion? I think I seem to remember there are a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. There are 25 billion out of a total. It can go up to 30 billion right now.
Oh. The problem here with this is there any point in this thing having any value? Does it make any difference, the functioning of the credit card, whatever price this thing is? Would it make any difference?
So I do think, I haven't checked it in a while. I think they recently, within the last few months, like during that big run up, I think they changed it to, instead of holding, say, 10,000 of these things, you needed $5,000 worth of them staked. So theoretically, you'd need less coins the higher they're up to get the same value. now. But as far as fundamental, there might be something on their platform where you get a benefit to fees or APYs on the site if you stake more. But I don't think that's related to the price of the coin all that much.
Yeah, and I suppose at some point there are going to be other competitors that come into this space now that these guys have sort of broken ground. I would imagine like MasterCard and Visa and stuff, they don't like these guys eating their lunch. What are these guys there teamed up though? Are they teamed up with Visa or is it MasterCard? Do you guys know offhand which one it is? No, not offhand.
Yeah,
I think it's a Visa card. I'm Googling right now.
Oh.
It is a Visa card.
Well, okay. I know Sjord, he's super jazzed about this stuff. He loves doing this stuff. I personally, I can't understand why people buy groceries on a credit card. Because it, like, literally the odds are so stacked against you. If you do not pay that thing off at the end of the month, it's like you have a 30% added bill onto your grocery bill. I mean, the statistical odds of you slipping up and just accidentally missing, I think the credit card companies, they love that shit. And I think a lot of people get sucked in, and then all of a sudden, oh fuck, Johnny needs new braces. Okay, well we can't quite, man. You know what? Let's just let the credit card slide this month. It's only a few $100. It's not that, and then the slippery slope starts, and it's a no-win situation. But these guys can basically convince people to like buy groceries and stuff with your credit cards.
Well, and it's essentially the one of the reasons it's so intriguing to me, and potentially CR too. It's another way to get to be a crypto off ramp. Oh. It's another way you can spend your crypto in real life. Oh. And so to me, it is kind of neat. If I have some crypto that's just sitting here, like right now, I'm in a lot of stable coins. I'm not going to be spending those until the market looks like it's going to turn around. I can just have some stable coins on the crypto.com platform, and anything I spend, I can just pay off. And I don't know if they do automated payments or anything, but it could be easier to mess up on something like this than something like a normal, I guess, TradFi bank where you could set up automated payments or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the general gist of why I don't like using credit cards. Those people that can manage their behavior and, do the right thing. Unfortunately, I can't half the time. I mean, it's hard enough me just managing my own fucking behavior in the marketplace with trading, let alone fighting with credit card companies. I don't like that kind of life, but I can understand some people want to live that life, and I think if I'm not mistaken, if you keep a certain amount there, they actually pay you like Kronos is CROs, don't they? All right. So I guess in that perspective, if the price of this thing collapsed, then it might affect that payout sort of motivation. All right. Well, anyway, I guess the long and short of it here, for speculative purposes, I don't think I'd be interested in buying this right just yet. Gotta wait a bit. All right. Wrapped Bitcoin? No idea what that is. Is that like a Ethereum token?
Yeah, it's an ERC20 version. So if you want to do anything with DeFi on your Bitcoin, you can wrap it using one of a few different protocols and then send it over to ETH. And one of those is wrapped Bitcoin.
All right. Litecoin. Don't hear too much from Charlie these days, eh? I wonder what's happened to him. Do you guys hear much from Charlie?
Nah, it seems like he's keeping quiet.
Yeah, not a lot.
Oh boy. I remember Charlie got all excited and he said that by his birthday, remember that? Remember there was a tweet out? Can't remember if that was a couple years ago or not. But I remember he said by like his birthday we would see new all-time highs on his coin. Can't remember whether that was last year or the year before. Subic says, isn't a credit card, it's a debit card. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those Visa debit cards. Isn't that interesting? Huh. I'll have to ask Stuart next time he's on the call. So, I mean, what do you say? Obviously, this thing's not pointing up right now. Actually, I did put out a really cool comparison of various different traders and their participation. And I remember a while ago, it's funny, I could have sworn it was this chart, but maybe it was a different one. It was a fun chart that I did. I even tweeted it out in the whole thing. But it doesn't look like it's in here. God, I can't remember when that was. Seemed I even remember it was like can't remember which one it is. It's one of these, but it was a fun little deck that I did of a number of different charts for Litecoin, but I don't think it's on here. Remember, I used to follow this every single day with you guys, but yeah, a lot of these little shit coins just didn't make it. I remember I had a really cool. Just bear with me here a second. I don't know what the heck I did with it. I thought it was this one, but I guess not. God, I can't remember. That's too bad. Well, we'll just take a chance. Is this it? If this isn't it, I'll give up. Nope, it's not it. This is just a different one. Darn. Alright, well anyway, I took a chance. I remember I did up a cool study of Litecoin and the various different sort of personalities. Let's see if I could quickly do this. I don't know whether I can or not. Actually, it'd probably be a good place to show you is on Twitter. Let's see. Charlie, there he is. So I don't know whether you guys remember this or not, but this is basically coming off the bottom. So a number of different traders. This is back in early 2000. And I suppose there was the COVID dump low against the lows. I think that was like the trader's trade. I remember a guy that used to be on the site a lot, Kevin. He bought a bunch of Bitcoin here. I was so impressed with that trade. But Slowpoke, I think you can make the argument you had a cute little W that came in here following the test of the lows. And just a simple test of the upper part of the range hitting Mountain Man level there. That produced a nice little 2-to-1. Actually, those numbers aren't on here. Then there was sort of like the investors, and the investors, they just simply take the 50% range of the most recent range. And I remember when Dav and we did a video back here, and we talked about how Ethereum and Bitcoin and Litecoin, all that, should come back to their 50% rules. So you can see this took like literally 2 years to work its way back to the 50% rule. And then we talked about Moon Boys. Moon Boys were sitting all the way up at this Vagabond level, all the way up top here. So that was what does that say, 589? I don't know whether we ever got there or not. So anyway, this is kind of a fun sort of illustration of the different types of investors there are, right? There's your guys that are in there sharpshooting, making a living from trading. Then there's your investors, RSP, 401k, typical, hey, I'm an accountant, lawyer, doctor, right, and just want to invest, good money. That was a pretty darn big reward. And then, of course, you got Moon Boys. You never know. Moon Boys may get hit. I don't think they got hit, though. 569. Let's go see what happened there. So they actually did go and take out the highs, but we never got Moon Boy levels, bastards. This happens to be off of Stamp. I don't know whether they all have those crazy tails. Let's see what Coinbase looks like. Does it have it? Oh no, Coinbase is pretty clean. Interesting how he was not able to go to new highs there, though. But I would say Fog and Bombs. Where's that high? Yeah, up in that area. I guess that makes sense what happened there. So if that's the case, we should come back down to 1, which we did. And then it kind of looks like we floundered here. Whatever the rally was, it stalled out. So, as we said there just a moment ago, I think that there was a cute little sort of traders got a trade setup. And that was... so I'm buying something down in here. Even really that W for that matter. That's perfectly fine. Buying there and risking to the lows. And 2 to 1. Where's 2 to 1? Yeah, there's 2 to 1. That turns out that was right in the middle of the reload zone. I mean, it's not unrealistic. Would you maybe... In fact, actually, we had a trade. I think it was... Actually, I think it was Bitcoin. It recently did something like this, where the W, if you zoom in tightly, I think you could argue that this is probably the one that I did for that tweet, right? That W right there. But let's be conservative, and we'll say we went there, and we risked against these lows. So down, up, down, breakout. So we bought that breakout there. It's not a terrible trade idea. Right there. Came back down against these lows, but it held, and away we go. Pretty typical trade setup. So that's 5 to 1. So if we come down to 50% rules, kind of like what I was showing you with Luna earlier, really that would be the smart sort of trade setup level. There. Yeah, right there. So that produced 3.2 to 1. Wow, pretty good trade. You had to take quite a bit of heat, but it did work. So there's your first trader. That's your trader's got a trade trader. Not a surprise why we stalled out there. Probably a lot of traders did take profits there. Then the 50% level person. So that is a rally up into this level. Probably not going to be so strict down here. Maybe even buy that W and risk to new lows. Right? Down, up, down, breakout. Looking for that 50% roll. Oops, that's a little bit. Oh yeah, well, no, actually that's a bit high. Let's. Whoops. Why are you moving that? There we go. What the hell? We'll go down there. 3.2 risk rewards seems perfectly realistic. So that's guys done. And unfortunately, Moon Boys, I hate to say it, but I don't know. 4.669, that's probably asking a bit much. I think probably looking at this, I think the Moon Boy trade was 2.669, which would have been up in here. But I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say, well, Moon Boy's still... and actually, hell, I suppose you could even make the argument maybe Moon Boy even went long through there, right? And they're playing this huge W. It's totally realistic. But you just got to understand, if you're going to do that, that's your risk window. Ay caramba. Is this a realistic profit objective? I don't think so. But nonetheless, I guess that's what that trade looks like, and now you're underwater. Boo, hiss, hiss, boo. But technically that W is working. The fact that we hit 2.618, though, I think, if anything, what you probably should have done is rung the register a little bit. Then maybe move your stop to scratch, and if we come back down against this original bottom, you just hop off the Moon Boy trade. But I really like this is the trade that I learned first, like 30 years ago. buying the W at the bottom end of the range, 50% rule as your target. If you're gonna learn a trade setup and you want to make money from a trader, as a trader, learn this. Buy the W at the bottom end of the trading range, take profits at the 50% rule, and you see how that turned out. That is the bread and butter trade. All right, well, anyway, there's your Litecoin trade summary from eons ago. Now, what the hell do you do if you're interested now? I don't mind the idea of something like that. There's probably a long-term trend line. Notice there's the POC. That's probably support in there. And if we probably do reload zones off of that original base. Yeah, 78.6. Brian's talked to you lots about that. 88.6, probably the altcoin reload zone would be more appropriate level. Then we can also, I noticed there's a nice M here. So we could probably do like a chaos off of that there. And there's some levels to work with. So actually interesting that we came down to that 4669 and held. And sucky if we don't hold that. Obviously that doesn't make sense. But that's interesting. Boom, boom. I would have thought that we would have tried and held that. Be interesting to see how this story plays out going forward. Suppose we could also even do another one sort of off of, well, there is that there, right? So we could do one off of there. Interesting. Interesting how the trend line is 877. And mind you, that was pretty arbitrary. Probably should have been that. So there's 4669. And now 877 disappears. So I don't know whether that's relevant or not. But it's interesting how we have this and actually maybe, I wonder if that's even inaccurate. Maybe we go there. That's a tough one. What I do notice is if we go there to there, which I think is legit, yeah, I think it makes sense why there's such a fight here. Two foggy buggies. So see if you can do that, if you can draw like multiple studies and you see how the market itself is kind of sort of painting windows for you. I really like that thinking. So, reload zones. This isn't a bad area to nibble. Foggy boggies. We've got a cluster of these 4669s. Of course, you got your Benkoff check coming in off of the big honkin' weekly breakout level. 88.6. So, if you wanted to put yourself on a dollar cost averaging program because you're a fan of Charlie, I don't really have a problem with that. We're in cheap ass territory. This isn't a terrible area to buy. I go slowly because keep in mind that's $50, that's $100. So that's a pretty wide range. But anywhere down in this area, anywhere between say like well, there's the bottom of value in the POC, right? So that's like $30-$40, and there's $70-$80. I think you're buying value. But at the same time too, is this like a technical buy? No, there's no. You want to make this really simple on yourself. Lower highs and lower lows, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Uh-oh. Really, bull markets are higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So, as long as you're just seeing generally lower highs and lower lows, well, market's still pointing down. And, with this whole Russian thing, obviously nobody's interested in taking risk on cryptocurrencies right now. This is not the time to go and bet the farm on this kind of stuff, guys. If anything, maybe we just cool our jets for a little bit here while the adults decide the fate of the universe. So, there's your Litecoin chart. If anything, what I would say is, I'm going to draw a nice little support line off of 88.6, another Benkoff check level down there, and the POC, and that is $56. That's where I think she wants to go. We'll say $50 to $60, somewhere in there. Boom. So it is interesting how I would be curious, and maybe we should leave it at that because we are getting past, well past 8 o'clock. That's a couple hours. We'll only handle so much of the Beamish in one night. I'd be curious just to get sort of like a panel reading from the three of you. Like when you started in crypto and you heard like names were going to pull back, I remember asking you guys like 6-8 months ago, and you go, "Oh man, if price ever got down there, I totally buy. I totally buy. I totally buy." Are you guys still feeling that way? That if these prices get down, no matter what, you're going to be buying, or are you actually now starting to believe a little bit that maybe I don't want to buy anymore?
It's hard to like I'm because like you see it down there, you see the fib level and all that, reload zones and things, and then you think, well, could it go a little bit lower? Like, should I wait a little bit longer? Like that's how my mind works, at least. But I do start. I mean, I have been like when it gets into reload zones, I will maybe nibble here, nibble there, and if it goes low, if it's something I believe in, right? Now these aren't really like trades; these are more like, well, I guess they are. They're like more like nanny nibbles type things, right? They're not really trade setups per se, but certain coins I believe in, when they get to those levels, then I'll start kind of nibbling. But yeah, so I'm kind of mixed, I guess. But
all right, I appreciate the very real answer. A lot of people just bullshit me, right?
No, it's
that
hard.
sounded like a real answer. What do you think, Ben? Are you as enthusiastic about crypto as you were a year ago, or are you kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm not so enthusiastic anymore?
Yeah, I guess yeah, obviously it was pretty it's pretty exciting this time last year, and a lot easier to jump in, but especially with like the state of Bitcoin, it's hard to get excited about altcoins turning around anytime soon.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my sentiment is. I'm not as excited. I don't think it's going to turn around tomorrow, that I'm going to miss out if I'm not getting into something right now. So just.
And Nick,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely not be what a lot of people call easy mode for a while, but I think it's good that I went through TRI when I did, because I imagine I'll find myself in the day trading room eventually, and just learn to be able to trade on smaller time frames, so it doesn't really matter what the overall market's going to do.
Well, I tell
over
you,
a longer period of time.
knowing how to day trade futures in bear markets is handy.
Yeah, well, I know that's what I'm thinking. So
it keeps you occupied.
Yeah,
and then it's funny because I go hang out with John and the whole Top Step crew and stuff. I participate in their morning calls and stuff, and then I'll just disappear. And John knows that as soon as I disappear, it means the beach balls must be rallying again. And then when the rally's over, I'll come back, and it's so funny. I came back at the crypto market went crazy there the past year or so I wasn't much over on Top Step. Then I started coming back, and they're like, "Hey, the Beamish is back!" Yeah. So it's kind of funny how that goes full circle. So interesting. That's an interesting observation, Nick. Sorry, go ahead.
We did ask about Vitalik earlier.
Yeah.
He put out a pretty scathing tweet about Russia. Just about an hour ago, and then he put out another one that says, "Remember, Ethereum is neutral. I am not." So I think he's definitely not on great terms with him.
All right. Okay. Yeah, so Great Moody says, i.e., maybe first look for signs of the bulls waking up. In fact, actually, I think we started off the broadcast tonight suggesting that the bears kind of woke up there, eh? Actually, this is probably a pretty good illustration of that concept. Yeah. So, there's a really good example of the bears waking up and taking over. And you can see prices just drifted lower here. If anything, we gotta wait for these bears to go back to sleep before we can start thinking bullish again. Ugh. So good observation. Great, Del Nuti. $4 now on the crude. Oh boy. So $700 points down on the futures. Oh my goodness, what a headache. All right. Well, I guess. What do you think? Did the January barometer sort of set us up for expectations here for the year? What do you think, guys? Did you buy into that concept?
It's becoming more real.
All right. How about the decennial report? Did you buy into that bullshit?
Well, I mean, they're both kind of. I mean, at the moment, they seem like they're both kind of on point.
All right. How about TRI's breadth indicator? Has that been of any? Where the hell is that damn page? That been any help? What's it been saying? Should we be bullish or bearish here? I guess what I'm getting at is there's been a lot of anecdotal evidence suggesting that risk assets were going to come down here in price. So it's happening. I don't think anybody can say that this was out of nowhere. I don't think anybody can say that this was not predictable. In fact, actually, there's a whole bunch of reasons that suggested that we needed to come down. How ironic that they're going to use this military incursion in Eastern Europe as the catalyst to cause this correction in price. But I think the correction in price was long overdue. So here we are. If anything, been great working with the three of you. I suppose this is your opportunity if you want to have any closing thoughts or comments. But I've had a fantastic evening dominating the conversation here once again with you guys. So thank you for putting up with me. Appreciate it. Any closing thoughts, Derek? Anything? Any words of wisdom that you would give this world?
Not really words of wisdom. Just I don't know. Stay safe. Don't take no wooden nickels like always. And
like that. Yep.
And have a great week. See you next week.
All right. Ben, what do you think? What's a message out of the great state of Florida?
I might just say, if you want to access any of the charts that Brian's done up, we've got a handy little app that anyone can get. There's the URL up at the top. I don't know if we could put that in the description or anything, but yeah.
Thank you
Enjoy.
for reminding me.
Share it.
And this is Ben's little treat for us. So thank you very much, Ben. Totally appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Actually, thank you for reminding me. So that's totally awesome. And I guess I'll also try and put it in the little description. So, and Nick, coming out of the great state of Minnesota, you got the final word tonight. What's a word of wisdom out of Nick's neck of the woods these days?
I don't know. It's probably a depressing one, but more along the lines of Derek. Just, I really hope that this doesn't snowball into something even worse than it's already going to be. I hope if you're in Eastern Europe or something, I hope you and family and friends can stay safe. That's all.
All right. God bless. PMA for the win as much as we can. I suppose it puts little funny political characters in my country into perspective, eh? So, if anything, I'm awfully fortunate that we're just worried about trucks being towed. In Canada, people in Eastern Europe have got a lot worse. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Appreciate the good karma. Always fun to chat with you. And, until next week, everybody out there, as the saying goes, try and stay safe. PMA for the win. And I suppose who should take us on out here this week? I think I'm feeling like Ben should take us out. I don't know. Call me crazy. The only thing left for good old TRI and the crypto countdown crew to say tonight is...
Bye for now.